Super Mario Party Jamboree is likely one of my favorite Switch games of all time. It is probably, in my opinion, the best Mario Party game in both the Super Mario Party and the Mario Party series. So a dedicated Nintendo Switch 2 edition with some added upgrades definitely got me excited. But of course this upgrade wasn't going to be free. The upgrade pack is also more expensive than what we've already seen on the Nintendo Switch 2. In comparison to both Legend of Zelda game upgrades, which are free if you own the Nintendo Switch Online Plus Expansion Pack subscription, Jamboree is triple the price. Nintendo is asking $29.99 for this, or 380 Rand in South Africa. That's a lot of money for an upgrade, more than what we've seen across the industry up to now. But is this all worthwhile? Well, I have some mixed feelings about it. When loading up the Switch version of Jamboree, you are now given different options to choose from. You can either load directly into Jamboree TV or launch the familiar standard Jamboree mode. Of course, Jamboree TV is where you'll find all the dedicated Switch 2 features. The game mode plays out like a TV game show where Toad is the host and players need to choose what to play in front of a live studio audience. This chunk of content is where you'll play the Switch 2 exclusive modes and minigames. This also means that when starting Jamboree TV, the game will ask you to register your faces in the view of the camera so that you can see your mug across the supported game modes. This is done quite easily and I had to just move a cursor across my face and select it. I could also shrink and grow the circle to accommodate different seating distances from the camera. It also takes into account the camera that you're using, so you don't have to use the Nintendo Switch 2 camera itself. The game does a decent job of keeping track of your face as long as you remain in the same position throughout the experience. If you move seats, stand up or move around too much, you'll often just see an empty spot where your face should be whenever your icon appears on the screen. However, Bowser Live is a bit less forgiving given the focus on camera-based minigames. This is a local mode only, with up to 4 player support. The mode is essentially all about the Switch 2's camera and microphone support. The minigames rely on body movement, so you'll need to make sure you're always in the camera view, else there's going to be issues. Thankfully, initiating the game mode does a second camera registration where players have to stand in a camera box to confirm their position. You can also switch around the box positions to accommodate where the players are seated. It is a bit clumsy, I won't lie. Almost every time I played the game, I had to move the camera around, adjust the height and shift the furniture around to make room for the space to accommodate the ultra-wide camera angle that comes with the Switch 2 camera. It also makes it difficult to accommodate kids and adults at the same time in frame, especially if you're tall and you have a really short child. Then there's the games themselves. Bowser Live revolves around impressing your host, Bowser, by completing minigames and beating your team. Teams are made up of 2 players, each working against the other team. There are 6 minigames, 3 based on the microphone and 3 based on the camera. These games are okay. One had me smash a brick as fast as I could with my fist to get coins. The team with the most coins won. The other saw me balance a bunch of falling Goombas on my head and sway from side to side to catch them as they fell from the sky. The last is a Simon Says-like game where players are assigned either as Mario or Luigi and had to stand or squat depending on what the request asks for. The microphone games just revolve around shouting "go" at the screen to move a robot across the scoreboard. The louder you scream, the further it goes and you have to stop it right before Bowser's feet as he stomps it and you lose. Another one had me say "go" over and over again to make Bowser Jr. fly up and down on the screen as he collected coins. Then there's a clapping game where players had to clap to the rhythm of the beat, but it just resulted in my nieces smacking my Joy-Cons with their hands and me cursing them out for not using their brains and clapping with their hands instead. Every match in Bowser Live ends with a screaming game that is honestly quite painful. You have to wave your arms around like a lunatic for the camera and then scream at your TV so the mic detects your voice. So this last game incorporates both the camera and the microphone. The loudest, most annoyingly arm-waving team then wins. I'm usually always game for camera minigames. I have been a fan of them since the Kinect days, and I'm the type of person who hated the fact that Just Dance dropped support for the camera, but Bowser Live just isn't it. The camera games just feel a bit uninteresting and perhaps uninspired. The 6 games are also very limited, and there's only 3 games per match, so they only last around 5 minutes. The best part about the mode was basically just screaming go during my opponent's turn, resulting in their robot RC car driving into Bowser's foot and them losing the game. That's about it. The endgame screaming match is horribly annoying, and even as someone who is usually game for these things, I hated screaming into the mic to make as much noise as possible. Even my loudest scream, and even my nieces who screamed so bad that my ears hurt, seemed to have barely affected the noise input in the game. But if the camera stuff isn't your baby, then Jamboree TV has some new mouse things to enjoy. Carnival Coaster is a dedicated mouse mode where players ride a roller coaster across a series of locations. During the ride, you can aim down at enemies flying around the coaster and toss rocks at them to take them out to earn extra time. You essentially need to get to the end of the course before the timer runs out, and you play mini games at certain intervals to earn even more time. It reminds me of the river rafting fun in Super Mario Party, that also all relied on the players doing their work to get to the end. Although Carnival Coaster does feel a bit dumbed down in comparison. If you're even somewhat familiar with the mouse, you'll never even come close to running out of time because the game gives you way more time than you actually need. There wasn't ever a mode where I thought that I was almost going to lose. But the mini games are quite fun. The dominoes one is likely my favorite, and it saw us placing down tiles across an area in order to have them trigger a drop pattern and hit a flower pot on the other side. We had to rotate our hands to change the direction of the tiles and really think about the obstacles in the way to avoid them and win the mode. Other games include shell hockey, which is a classic arcade-like experience. There's a cool envelope sorting game where I had to pick up envelopes and trash all the mail from Bowser, as expected. Get a Grip is all about scaling a wall by each player controlling an arm of a robot. And there's also a memory tile-like game where I had to open doors and remember who was behind which door to match them up with another character on the stage. There are 14 mouse minigames which are mostly fun to play. They do kind of overstay their welcome a bit if you play Carnival Coaster a few times, and it is hard to ignore the lack of variety here. But this mode is something completely new and refreshing, and the minigames kind of show us what Nintendo could do if they would make a new Super Mario Party game solely based on the Nintendo Switch 2 functionality. Apart from that, Super Mario Party Jamboree plus Jamboree TV has some other minor changes. If you select the Mario Party mode in Jamboree TV, the game incorporates the mouse minigames into the board, but it does give you the option to leave them out too. Frenzy mode is a new rather chaotic 5-turn mode that doubles everything you earn and lose. It is best played on the trackboard because the turbo dice makes everything feel even faster. Speaking of which, bot players can also now be sped up by selecting the fast speed at the start of the game. This should avoid those long drawn out turns where those AI bots just feel like they're taking all day to complete them. The game has also seen some minor visual changes, emphasis on the minor. It runs at 1440p in docked mode and 1080p in handheld mode. I won't say the visuals have drastically been improved, as the 1440p upgrade results in some anti-aliasing on objects, and generally the game isn't as sharp as say 4K would be. I don't think there's any upscaling happening either to help improve the resolution. Game Share has also been added as support. You can basically play the Mega Wiggler's Tree Party board, streaming your game to other Switch 2 devices and even older Nintendo Switch 2 consoles. It works quite well, but again it is limited to one game board and even cuts down the mini games that you can play down to 30. As an upgrade, Jamboree TV doesn't feel like 380 Rand. Bowser Live is gimmicky on its own, which leaves Carnival Coaster and its 14 minigames. Those two are also short-lived. The game's best content still remains in the game boards and the original modes like Koopathlon and Kaboom Squad. Even then, I was a bit disappointed by the visual upgrade. I mean, both Zelda games look incredible now in 4K, and Jamboree I was just hoping would get the same treatment. Although I'm not really as hard up about a party game blowing me away from a visual perspective. I will likely still play the Switch 2 edition of Jamboree as often as possible and enjoy it, but I can't see myself spending much time on the Switch 2 exclusive content. It is nice to have, but is it a must-have? I don't think so. It is likely one of those things you'll buy, play for 1 hour and never go back to. You have to decide if paying for the upgrade makes that worthwhile. So those are my thoughts on the Nintendo Switch version of Super Mario Party Jamboree plus Jamboree TV. Are you looking to pick the game up? Let me know in the comments down below. While you're here, check out my other Switch 2 content on the channel and visit glitch.online daily for gaming tech news and reviews. Until next time, farewell.